Undertale is a game full of impactful choices, surprising twists, and enigmatic mysteries. But one of the most unusual things I haven't seen people discuss is the fact that the main antagonist, the embodiment of evil, might actually be the person who helped everyone avoid a terrible fate. This is something that I think even Toby Fox wasn't planning to be a thing, but it actually makes a ton of sense if you think about it. First, let's rewind a bit. One of the game's many twists is the fact that saving and loading, also known as resetting, are diegetic actions that can be performed by certain individuals. When you do something with the save file, you're actually messing with the fabric of space-time. But something that goes unexplained is the extent of this power. Does it influence only the underground, or is it powerful enough to extend to the surface as well? From a narrative perspective, it makes sense that only the underground is affected. The sealed world of monsters is magical and it's separated from the surface by the barrier. Also, as a side note, Frisk, despite being the protagonist, isn't actually all-powerful. In fact, according to Undertale's Japanese translation notes, Frisk is just along for the ride. The real power belongs to us, the player, a force that transcends time and space. Before Frisk ever fell, Flowey was already doing resets. We learned that from his dialogue on the genocide route. He tells us that he exhausted every opportunity that the underground has to offer. It's fascinating because we as players see only a minuscule portion of the world, and we still discuss it so many years after it was opened to us. It's unimaginable how much time Flowey has spent here since he has access to every other area of this massive world. But now we're getting to the unexpected part. What if Flowey's reloads were doing more than just letting him play around? I love the idea that the underground was already on its last legs by the time Frisk arrived. The monsters were sealed in the medieval era, and in the present day there is crazy technology like lasers, smartphones and public schools. They've probably spent centuries underground. And monsters do need food, even if it doesn't spoil, and they are mortal, except for boss monsters. We know that thanks to Big Mouth, a regular at Grillby's bar. Say thanks to Big Mouth, the underappreciated lore-giving NPC. Realistically, monsters would run out of stuff eventually. Can you tell that I like Horror Tale? This story of decay seems so powerful somehow. I don't know if I wanna read it though. Should I? Is it good? There is evidence that things were getting dire in the underground. One monster in Snowdin mentions how dreary and crowded it's become. And let's not forget, monsters only get new technology when it falls from the surface, as stated by Undyne. Their only real advancement came from Gaster, who built the core, the only thing keeping them going. And then he disappeared because he wanted all the internet people to make theories about him. Elphys, his successor, didn't really contribute much. Metaton is just a haunted robot, and her determination experiments are... you know how theirs turned out. Here's where things get interesting. When Flowey resets the underground to his save point, time moves forward on the surface. And that means that every time he brings things back to an earlier state, the outside world keeps progressing, but the underground is stuck in time. If that's true, then Flowey's resets effectively prevented the underground from reaching total collapse. Every reset rolled back time just enough to keep everything running a little longer. Flowey was created after the 7th human soul was taken, so he practically exists at the latest point in the timeline. Without realizing it, Flowey may have been the only reason Frisk wasn't met with a wasteland. Of course, Flowey didn't reset because he wanted to help, it was only about him and his suffering, being unable to feel anything. He was acting purely in self-interest, seeking entertainment in a world that no longer meant anything to him. But the irony is that in his endless quest for emotions, he unknowingly preserved monster kind. What I find even more fascinating is how perfect it is for Flowey as a character. He is supposed to be a representation of the player base, so his actions can be interpreted as something that a player would do. In this instance, it makes me think about the Undertale community as a whole. There are still a lot of fans of this game, and the discussion around it doesn't seem to stop. Just as Flowey preserved the underground for Frisk, we are also preserving the memory of this game to make sure that new people learn about it and experience it for themselves.